What's up, OCBL fam? This is your commissioner, Zico Pepic, with another episode of the Pass First, Shoot Later podcast. I got another great episode here for you guys today. I got the Payne twins, Tyler and Jason. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining me today. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you so much for having us. And you're doing a great job with the league. Very impressed. Second season so far, and love what you're doing. Love what you're creating with OCBL.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I love that you guys are playing. When Yannick told me he wanted to add you guys to the team originally, I was super stoked. I know you guys don't remember all the times, but I used to play against you guys when you were younger a lot. When you guys were in college, we played 24-hour fitness. You guys would pick on my brother, I'd pick on you. And I used to work you back in those days. And then I didn't see you guys for a few years. And then next time I saw you, you guys basically jacked up, were huge. And then I remember like that Dwayne Wade post to Mike Bibby where he's joking around about Mike Bibby getting jacked up, like, oh, hey, sir, here's your shoe. And that's exactly how I felt when I saw you guys the next time. Like, holy shit, dude, they got ripped.
I appreciate it.
Actually, that's something I want to talk about because obviously we're little guards, and I had Mark Butler on the last episode, and you three are guys that I follow quite a bit. I always watch your guys' games. I always appreciate little guards. I tell everybody, I don't think the big guys realize how hard we have to work. And I especially appreciate the little guards who are not afraid to go guard the bigger guys. And you guys do that. Mark does that as well. I've always done that. But something that's different about you guys is for our size, I don't think that I have ever played against guys as strong as you guys. Like, you guys are legit rock solid. Like, when you guys hit me, it hurts. And not just because I'm old anymore. It's like because you guys are really strong. And the crazy thing is, you guys are both about exactly the same. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys about that commitment. Is this something because you guys are twins and you guys were pushing each other the whole time? Or is this individual things where you guys just made sure it was a light fitness goal to make sure you're both in shape?
For sure. And great question. I've got a couple pounds on Tyler, but that's another discussion entirely. So we started working out from a pretty young age. Our dad each had us doing push-ups and sit-ups from like 5th and 6th grade on. I probably lifted weights before we even got into basketball. We started playing organized basketball around 7th grade. So we developed an early foundation, joined 24-hour fitness at 12 or 13 years old, and paired that with the basketball. And now that we're not playing collegiately anymore, we still play organized basketball in the league. In your league and a few other leagues, fitness has always been a huge part of our lives. Both of my parents are very fit, so it's just something that we've kind of carried through, and it's just kind of part of who we are, I guess. Tyler, anything you want to add there?
Yeah. So touching on something you said earlier, like us being the same size. So, a lot of people ask us, what's it like to be identical twins? I've always wanted a twin. What's it like? And I think one of the things that's allowed us to be the same size and also play college basketball at the same level is, you got this competitive drive with someone who literally looks exactly like you. So, and I'll never forget, man, like Jason had he was starting to develop like a little bit of a six-pack in like 5th grade. And I'm like, damn, I can't let my identical twin be ripped and me not be ripped. So it almost kind of forces you to be highly competitive because, hey, if he's capable of doing something, I for sure am, because we are literally identical twins. So I think that really drove us to stay consistent in the gym, stay consistent with basketball, because we didn't want to be us individually, the fatter or out of shape twin. So that we just kept trying to level up with each other. And, here we are, you saying that we're about the same size on the OCBL podcast.
That's awesome, man. I actually love hearing that you guys say your family is super fit and takes care of themselves. I think that's really important. I hope obviously to have kids one day, and I definitely want to kind of contribute that to them. I don't work out as much as you guys, but I do run. I do play basketball. Like I said, I do push-ups and sit-ups every day and simple things like that. But little things like that are so good for discipline for people. And I think it shows with you guys. You guys are definitely disciplined individuals, and it carries on as you guys get older.
Thank you. So, appreciate that, man. And one thing that I'd add to that too is like to Tyler's point of, I mean, once we first just started with push-ups and sit-ups, like, I mean, once you're sixth grade, seventh grade, that's all it takes to start to look a little different. And people started to notice and say, hey, like the twins are jacked, whatever jacked looks like in sixth or seventh grade, right? But I remember that being kind of cool, like, hey, this is kind of cool, right? And so once you start to kind of see some of the results, then it makes you want to kind of keep pushing, just like with anything else. Once you start to see the ball go in the hoop, it makes you want to practice your jumper a little bit more. You hit a killer crossover, you want to work on your handles even more. So I think that just continues to compound and feed on itself over time. And once you establish a certain baseline, it's like you don't want to regress from there. So, and also too, like working out, just like playing basketball and running. I ran a lot during COVID, but like for me, lifting, it's just such a mentally cleansing part of my day, and it's very therapeutic for me. So as much of an outlet as it is physically, it's also a huge part of just my mental zen and my, I'm literally watering my mind when I work out. That's how it feels for me. So pairing those two together makes it easy to keep up with that routine.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and one other thing I just really briefly want to add to that too is, obviously we play a lot of basketball, lift a lot of weights, but the mental benefits of us staying active and really pushing ourselves, as you said, it translates in other aspects of our life. So like, we have work jobs, right? We're not playing basketball 24/7. We work during the week, and if we're squatting really heavy, or we, have a crazy hard basketball match, or we're lifting heavy weight, then that makes the rest of our day look easy in comparison, because we don't have to do these physically strenuous exercises. But we might have mentally tough days where we're off. But once again, just knowing what we're able to do in the gym when we push ourselves absolutely translates to other aspects of our life, especially our work life. At least that's how it feels for me. So
that's that discipline. That's exactly what I was talking about. You guys carry it with you guys. I could see it. You could feel it when you're around you. So I respect that big time. Love that about both of you guys. And I think it's so awesome that, again, like there's no like out of shape twin. Like you guys just kept pushing each other. And I do want to ask, what was that like in pertaining to basketball? Because I have a feeling that the one-on-one matchups at home probably got pretty intense.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot that I'm sure each of us could say about that. We started playing organized basketball in seventh grade, and pretty much from then all the way through getting out of school, and even now, periodically, we played one-on-one almost every day or every other day. Especially in the summer times when you're in between season, like when we'd work out together, train together, which was just about every day or 5 or 6 days a week, getting shots up, working on handles, we typically finish playing one-on-one. And those matches got very intense. The toughest thing about it was, since we grew up playing with each other, we knew all of each other's moves, each other's tendencies, to where it became second nature. So Tyler's the hardest person in the world for me to play one-on-one against, because he knows me so well. I can't fake him out. It's like I'm playing against a mirror. So the games would get intense. They get very physical. They would get emotional, but it built character for us both. And I think it built a lot of mental toughness. And we both wanted to win very bad every single match, because it's like it's that twin duo, that dynamic. So it was a lot of fun, but it was a great experience and very hard, since we know all of each other's moves.
He summarized it perfectly, and we even used to joke, like, growing up, we wanted to play against the best competition possible, and like, SoCal is a crazy hub for good players, and we see good players every now and again in the summer, at 24, whatever, and there's a lot of people went to modern day, whatever, and I honestly think like some of these guys who are ranked, who went on major D1s, like they were easier for us to guard or go against than each other, for the reason that he just said. Nothing worked on them, very, very tough. And, when we would play these one-on-one games, it's almost like that was more important than our performance in whatever college team we're on. Like if I was getting more playing time than Jason, let's say, if we're just working out the next day and he beat me one-on-one, like that would feel worse than me having a bad game in the games that really mattered. Because like we just had this competitive edge with each other that no one else could match. So, but as you said, I mean, nothing I would change about those memories. I think those were some of the most formative games and times of my life for sure. And yeah, it was war each summer, man. Let me tell you.
I was waiting for one of you to have a little bit of that Kobe mentality and say, I won more than he did.
So this is something we've always talked about, and there's no way to really quantify this because, like, so you have to imagine if we've been playing organized ball like competitively since 7th grade all the way through college. This is like a decade, let's say, of like one-on-ones almost every single day. So, and what we would typically see is like there would be periods where one of us would win more of the time. So like Jason would probably get me more often in the early days, like middle school. And then like I would work my ass off and then like I would probably get him 80% of the time. So it switched like year to year or like every 6 months. And not that like I would win every game straight, but I might win like 60 or 70% of the games and then he would win. So, you know, he claims that overall he's won more than me. I don't know about that, honestly. Like, I don't know when he started counting. There's no way to quantify that. I'm not going to go out there and say that I won most, but it's probably pretty balanced, I would say, if I had to think back to every one-on-one we played. So, Jay.
So I would.
Anything different to say?
Yeah, I do. I mean, thinking back, and when we didn't count or keep track, and it was kind of just like who would win the day. But I do feel if there was a running tally of who won more one-on-ones, I feel like I won more if we were to look at just pure numbers. Tyler was right about everything. There would be periods where I would win more consistently. There would be periods where he would win more consistently. But if we were to look at everything, I think that I won more matches than he did.
Well, looking at both your guys' games, which I've been watching for a while, playing against you guys both, I think maybe once or twice I've actually mixed your guys' names up ever. And it was like when you both buzzed your head. But I know the difference. I know most of the difference due to like little details in playing style. Jason has always been more of the scorer to me. Tyler has always been more of the pure point guard. So like Tyler and I kind of like gel. We're a little more similar in styles and the way we play. I think Tyler is a better on-ball defender, but Jason's the kind of guy I could put on the scorer to make sure that he slows down the scorer on the other team. Tyler's the kind of guy who's going to full court press the other team's point guard, make his life a living nightmare, and dictate the pace. So looking at you guys, I could see where it's going to be evenly matched. And you guys probably know each other's moves, but there's little differences to your guys' game where I could see there's slight advantages of playing one-on-one sometimes for one or the other. So I could definitely see that.
For sure. And I'll say you're pretty analytical, man. That's a pretty good breakdown. I don't think you're off at all. I think that's pretty spot on. And we even talk about that lately. And sometimes I'll ask people just out of curiosity, like, you know, hey, what would you describe the difference between mine and Jason's game? I don't think it's always been like that. I think there was a point in time where like our games were the same. But the interesting thing is like even we're both 31. We're almost 10 years out of college now, which sounds crazy, but I think even now, like because of the how much ball we've played, like our games have continued to evolve into what they are. So, but yeah, your description is spot on. Jason being more of the like true scorer, and then me being a little bit more of a facilitator. I can get my buckets when I need to, but really like the assist, trying to create, making the pass, and finding him to score because I know he can shoot it. So
I think that's just you guys playing with each other, because that kind of happened with me and Dino. Me and Dino are 13 years apart. I'm 13 years older than Dino. But when he played with me, I was already playing more of a point guard role. And, I just told him, like, hey, man, just stand in the corner, be ready to shoot. Even when he was a little kid, and I brought him to play with older guys. And so me just finding him open all the time, him being confident with that three, kind of developed him more into a scorer. And it's kind of like looking like Lonzo Ball and LaMelo, right? They're both great players. Lonzo's a little more old school. Lonzo plays a little more defense and looks to pass, and LaMelo's chucking threes from all over the court, and that's like my brother. So I think that happens when you play together. Like one of them starts focusing on one thing, one focuses on the other. So
Yeah,
man, that's awesome. And it's cool that you also, like, even us just having this conversation, like, you have your brother who also hoops. Obviously there's a much bigger age difference, but that's one of the cool, beautiful things about basketball and just sports in general. Like, I feel like if you have a sibling and you grow up and you both play the same sport, like there's nothing like that bond that's created through sports. You learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about your brother, and it's cool to grow in that way. You know what I mean?
So speaking of family, your guys' team name is Family Ties, which Connor had no say in, apparently. He like reminds me of that. He's like, I didn't pick this name, they did. I'm not a brother on the team, But
yeah,
your team is rolling. I kind of picked you guys when I saw this roster. I kind of knew at the last All-Star game, I was like, oh, Noah's gonna go play with them. I just like had that inkling, just like watching you guys play together with him. I knew he's gonna go over there, play with you guys. You guys are gelling. I think he was that perfect piece that you guys needed defensively that you're kind of missing last season. And the way you guys are sharing the ball is just beautiful to watch. From a basketball purist, for a guy who likes watching ball movement, especially when you have that many capable scorers. Like Tyler, you said, you can get your buckets. I know you can go out and you could have the same game that Jason just had last week or 2 weeks ago and get 32 if you wanted. Connor can just explode whenever he wants. Yannick can give you 20 and 10 every single night. And then Noah's a triple-double machine. And you even still have like Adam and Baga, who could easily hit like 15 threes in the game playing 20 minutes, if they get the shots off. Talk about this team. Talk about what's special about this team, and what are the keys to you guys winning tonight?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that one of the key things with this team is we all trust each other, and we all have the same approach and mentality for when we play, from the standpoint of, like, no one cares who's getting buckets. No one's trying to get 20 or 30, right? We just play the game, and whoever's hitting their shots, or whoever has the better matchup, or whoever is just rolling that night, we'll continue to feed them. So, and I think that we're able to stick together even when there's, the other team goes on a run, or we go down 5 or down 10. We've had games where we've been down pretty big and have come back from that. So, and I think part of that, with, like Tyler was saying before, one of the beautiful things about basketball is, like, now that we're in our 30s, like, I see the game a little differently than I did when I was in college and high school, as I'm sure that you have too, Zico and Tyler. So, and I think that it's kind of shared among us. So now that, with this group, I feel like we're all on the same page. We trust each other. And yeah, with Noah being in the key, he's been a huge staple for us on defense. There's a lot of really good guards in the OCBL. I can't stay in front of all of them, right? Not that I'm just giving them blow-bys every time, but even if I do get beat, or if someone, hits me with a hezzy and they get into the paint, they still have Noah to deal with, or Yannick, with those two stretch centers or small forwards.
Yeah, everything Jason said is spot on. The other two things I would add to that, in terms of why I think we gel so well, trust is a big one, but also there's no egos. Like, there's no one on our team that I think is going to be upset if they don't have a big scoring night. And let's face it, we got 8 guys for most games, and everyone on our team wants to play. And if it was up to most of us, I think all of us would be on the floor for the whole game, for most people. But we also understand, especially in this league, there's no way you can get through a game with just 5 guys, or at least it wouldn't be smart to. So there's not a single point that I can recant from this whole season where someone subbing in for me or for someone else, there's been like, an eye roll, a missed high five, and that kind of stuff plays a really big role in how the game unfolds. So I think us not having an ego is a huge, huge thing. And just having, pretty good basketball IQs. We don't have practices. We don't do plays, right? We know to move the ball. We know who's going to be great in what positions. And even though this is our first time playing with Noah and his brother in this kind of a setting, we've seen them play enough to know what their strengths and weaknesses are. So they were a really good fit for our team for sure.
Yeah, again, it's probably, you guys are probably my favorite team to watch since the league has started. So 2 seasons in, this is a fun group. I know how many teams hate playing against you guys. There's multiple teams that said these, like, when they get going, it's over. Like, you have to do everything you can to not let those 3 start falling. Once they start falling, you're done. And I've had conversations with everybody after games, and your team is the team they complain about most because they hate chasing as much, but it's definitely the team that everyone loves watching the most because you guys put on a show and it's great basketball. I think this is like exactly what you want from a league when I'm trying to build, teams like this. If I can get a couple more teams where everybody's gelling, everybody's getting along, everybody's playing for each other, and the ball is moving like that, I mean, that's like as close to like college level basketball as you can get without any of the plays or anything like that. No ego, like you guys said. So super proud of you guys' team, really happy with it. Obviously, I'm part of you guys' group text, and it's always a joy listening to some of the stuff you guys have talking about, especially Baga. Obviously Adam's not in that group text, but Adam's one of the guys people talk about the most. Last interview I did with Mark, I asked him, I said, who's the guy you hate playing the most? And first he mentioned Justin Johnson, and he's like, wait, one more guy. Couldn't remember his name, like literally finds a picture of Adam. He's like, this guy. And it's like Adam, Adam is like a really interesting character because like off the court, like the nicest guy you're gonna meet, right? And then you play against him and you're like, dude, this guy's a piece of work, right? Talk about what it's like to play with him, because he's one of the guys that most people hate playing against, but I know he's a great guy. So
Yeah. Adams, he is a great guy. He's an interesting character, and he's one of those guys where once he gets rolling offensively, he can drop 40. I mean, he had a huge game last season where he must have had 12 or 13 threes, and probably it was like 13 or 15 a three. But once he gets rolling, he can really get going. He can definitely be a volatile player. He plays with a lot of emotion. He really wants to win, so he's able to ignite that fire. And I know that other teams don't like playing against him because on defense, he's like a gnat, right? He can really get under their skin. He's stripping the ball hard. He commits hard fouls. So almost every game where he's there, the other players are chirping, and it's usually about Adam because he's getting under their skin. Tyler, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, and it's really interesting you bring this up because, he's a lot more than just a shooter. Nicest guy in the world, very, very competitive. And I think he's been a real leader for us. He has a really, really high IQ, really, really high IQ. And he sees a lot of things from the bench. He sees a lot of things on the floor. Jason and I love playing with him on the floor. He knows what everyone's strength is, and he's a great passer. So I think he's definitely been one of the leaders on our team. Whenever we have timeouts or in between quarters or halftime, he's one of the more vocal guys. He's kind of like the Draymond Green for our team. Like, he sees a lot, and people listen when he talks.
Sure.
Because a lot of his calls have been right. So he's been a really, really key component, especially with some of the more gritty matchups. We can't win every game just running and shooting threes. So he's a really good strategy guy for us, for sure.
Yeah, I think every team needs a guy like him. Like you said, he's the gritty guy. He's going to do the dirty work. He's going to be like the Draymond Green for you guys' team. So regardless of how annoying he can get on the court, I always have respect for him. I've played with him this league and other leagues and stuff now too. So it's just funny to me when I see that many people talk about him, because I think the first time I played against him too, like I was like, this guy is driving me nuts, you know. But yeah, I think that it really speaks to how balanced you guys' team is. Because again, like you guys have great guards, you have athletes, and then you have that like little piece where somebody's gonna be the leader, do the dirty work, and then again, you're still gonna have Baga, who, regardless of what the mood is, you know, Baga's gonna come in there and say something just to make everyone laugh and calm everyone down.
Yeah, Bag is that's definitely Bag. And honestly, this team is great, man. We have a blast every single game. He makes it a lot of fun. He's always a jokester, and he competes as well, but he keeps things super light. He is the gel guy for our team. He's the one who I think has really brought everyone together. Yeah, he definitely keeps things light. Really, really, really fun guy to play with for sure.
So I had mentioned that I had asked Mark who's the guy that he least likes playing against in the league. So I'm gonna ask you guys, who's the matchup where you guys like, damn, this one's gonna be tough?
Oh yeah, so easy for me, and that's the MVP of our league, Justin Johnson. I think when we played against them, that was our only loss, or yeah, we're one of our only losses.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy he's just so smooth. He knows the game so well. If I remember, I think he got National NAIA Player of the Year back when he was at Concordia.
Yep.
And he has a super high IQ. Uses fakes very well. He's a lot stronger than he looks.
Yeah.
And he tore us apart. We were double teaming it. We had to double him, still tearing us apart. Incredibly smart player. So I would have to say Justin.
I couldn't agree with Jason more, but just to give a second opinion here. I mean, so first and foremost, there isn't an easy team for us to play against. Like, there isn't a dud in this league. Okay, so let me just get that out there. But those three guards from Dova Sports, Dwayne, obviously, I don't know the other two guys' names. There's a guy that we played last week who I've never seen before. Those three guys are quick as hell. They can all shoot. Nightmares for us. And like, we were even talking about it after the game on the way home. We're like, the only reason we won that game is because Noah was sitting in the paint after they just went straight by us, right? So it was almost like, hey, go on by, right? Like, Noah's waiting right there for you. But those guys, like, they're tough, man. Those guys are super, super tough, very hard to stay in front of.
That was a great game. That was a really good game. The other guards are Dwayne Lee, Isaiah, and DJ Thurman. Great guards. And they had Steve Burt, earlier in the year, who's a professional, which that was actually the first time guys played against him was a phenomenal game. Probably the best game I watched all season. So yeah, that I agree with that. Those are tough matchups too. So leading into the next question, if you guys could add one more guy to your team now, anyone else from the league, who would it be and why?
Oh man,
this one's tough for you guys because you guys are gelling, and it's like you could add someone to like ruin the chemistry, or add someone and just continue riding with it.
Yeah, I mean, if there was one player who I've played against so many times, who I would love to play with, it would be Isaac, like the kid that just graduated from Vanguard.
Yeah,
I think he played on your team actually, right?
He played on the Expendables, which is one of the other teams I registered. He played with Marcus and
yeah, it'd be Isaac. I played with him in several leagues. I played with him against him in Pros Vision. He used to play in the Irvine City League a couple years back. He's incredibly talented. I think he's being underutilized in this league. He has amazing court vision. I know what he's capable of. And he's someone that I think that everyone on our team would play better with because he sees the court so well. Tyler and I think we do a good job with this team. But speaking candidly, we're not I don't want to speak for you, Tyler, but I'm not a true point guard. I can handle enough to get by in a men's league game, but Isaac is a true point guard, and I think he would make everyone around, on our team better.
So I was gonna say Marcus Bradley because he's a beast, And, heck, if I had to choose two players, it would be Marcus. But Jason, I forgot he was in this league for the first time this season. Everything he said is absolutely correct. He is one of the best point guards, like true point guards I have ever played with or against. Like a true point guard, not someone who's short and can get buckets. Like this guy, he should, like, if you ask everyone in the league, and once again, I don't think he's been utilized as much, but we've seen what he can do. Like he should be most people's number one. Guys you want to play with, extremely talented passer, and he killed it at Vanguard. Hopefully he returns to this league, and they're passing some ideas now to GM of the year, Giannis Kulich, and see what we can make happen, man. Because that would be something real fun.
Yeah, he's someone I'm really fond of too. He's that fourth guard now that I'm watching. I saw him play that first time he got added to that team. And that team's situation was a little tough because they had so many guards. And when you play, like the same thing happened to me, when you play next to Vince Camper, body snatcher Vince Camper, it's one of those things. Like the first time Vince came, like one of my teammates, Kamali, he's like, "Hey, you're not the point guard anymore, bro. Just let him take care of it. Trust me." It's like, and I it's kind of like one of those situations. Same thing happened with Isaac. It's like you kind of got to take a little of a back seat. But I saw really quickly, like Isaac is really, really good. I wanted him on the Pros Vision League team that I made, so we added him to that team. I think he's a phenomenal player, pass first point guard. It's so hard to find young guys that play like that. Yeah, totally agree. He's definitely one of my favorites now as well too. I'm pretty sure he's coming back. And the cool thing about him is because he is the way he is, and there's so many guys that love playing with him, he's already brought me a bunch of guys that want to join next season just because he's in it. And if he's the kind of guy that he's, hey, this league is good, you'll want to play in it, they're ready to come, which has happened already with our Pros Visions team. We have a couple of new guys that are filling in because Isaac's bringing them, and they're all great. Or maybe Isaac's just making them look great, but I'm super fond of him too. Great player. I think that's a great opinion based off of what he can do. I definitely want to play with him too. And I won't mind coming off the bench. Like he's the perfect guy. It's like, yeah, you play for 30 minutes, I'll play 10. I won't complain. I'm the old vet at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's what happens when you get someone that plays basketball the right way and makes the others around you better. Like people want to play with you. So yeah, it's I totally understand the appeal that he brings.
So we're Laker fans. Unfortunately, right now we're Laker fans, and we're going through a tough time right now. I'm not like on the deep end, kind of situation where I'm depressed or anything like that. I think considering where we were early in the season, this is huge to be as far as we've come this season. So I kind of want to bring that up. I know you guys are both Kobe fans, which I love. You guys know how I am about Kobe. Talk about this Lakers season, the ups and downs, what you guys think is going to happen with the rest of the series and moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a tough season for the Lakers for a lot of reasons. Of course, I've rooted for them to make it as far as they have. I'm surprised that they were able to kind of make this push and even get to where they're at now in the playoffs, but glad to see it happen. They're going up against a tough Denver team with Jokic and Murray, who's been playing amazingly the first few games of this series. So, I'm still rooting for them. I still got the hopes that we can pull through and turn things around. But yeah, I mean, it's going to take a lot. One thing that I think has helped the Lakers kind of turn things to work in their momentum or work in their favor the second half of the season here in the playoffs has been one, AD stepping up and having some big games, and then also just some consistency throughout the bench. Austin Reeves has been put together a really nice streak of basketball. You have other guys stepping up. Lonnie having some big games as well through the playoffs. So, and also too, like LeBron, it seems like he has intentionally almost taken a back seat so that others can flourish, so that they can play more team-like basketball. and that spreads. And I think that momentum has helped them play some good basketball and string some games together to get to where they're at today.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Jay. No, and one of the things that you said that's really been cool is like seeing a guy like Austin Reeves come out and have as good of a season as he's had. You know, seeing like these young players develop and flourish, he's gonna have a great career. Like he's gonna get a great contract based on what we've seen this season. And like to know he did that at the Lakers is awesome. And you know, it's a very obviously it's tough being down 3-0. I'm not even going to pin all that on the Lakers, though. I mean, we're doing the best we can. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Denver is a phenomenal team, and they've been playing out of their mind, right? And these games where we've lost, you know, could we have played better for sure? But I'd say, hey, Nuggets just playing out of their mind, man. Michael Porter Jr., huge role. Jamal Murray, huge comeback from having been injured. And obviously you got the Joker, man, just a super special talent. A lot of people say he's the best player in the league right now. So it's exciting to see that matchup and see these other guys perform, albeit wish it wasn't beating our Laker team. And the other thing that was really special and pretty cool to see was LeBron break the scoring record as a Laker. That was a really special moment early this season. And like, there's been a lot of really cool special things that have happened with the Lakers, but that's definitely going to be like a top one, right? All the people there, the way he hit the shot and the way he was celebrated around the league for doing that. And yeah, so, you know, it's tough right now. Hopefully we can, you know, do what's never been done before and come back. But if they lose their next game, you know, because of all the things I just said, it's been an awesome season, and still gonna keep rooting for my Lakers for the years to come. So
That's exactly how I feel. I'm not upset. I think Denver right now is just a better team. But one of the things that I like is earlier in the season, before we made the trades that we made, there was this aspect of you don't know what the future looks like with this team. You know, we were older, pieces didn't really fit. We didn't have much to really root for aside from LeBron breaking that record. I didn't think that team as constructed was going to make the playoffs. And then the moves that they made, like it kind of changes the outlook on how you look for the future for the team. You know, I played against Russell Westbrook and Darren Collison when they were at UCLA, pick up ball with them multiple times. And Russ is great. I just didn't think he fit. And the fact that they're able to take him and Beverly, move those contracts and get some young guys in, like Rui Hachimura, he's not huge, but like he's one of those players where it's like, man, he could continue to develop. And you have one of those guys working out with LeBron every day. You have one of those guys playing with AD, you know, off of AD, you know, those are things that like are critical for a team when you're building a team. And then you also have Vanderbilt and now D'Lo and Austin Reeves. It's at least you feel like, okay, well, when LeBron retires, if these guys continue to develop, maybe someone will be interested in joining them. Whereas before it was like, damn, like LeBron, AD, or LeBron and Westbrook might be gone and then retire, and then AD might leave, you know, like that was like that fear. And then we've got nothing. So at least we have a little better future. That's kind of the way I look at it. And if they could build and get better, you can kind of do what Denver did. Denver had a bunch of young pieces they put together, picked up veterans here and there to make it all work, and they're good to go. So I'm not down on this year. I'm really happy with the direction.
Yeah, I completely agree. And just it's such a different feel of basketball watching them play now compared to the first half of the season. It feels like two completely different teams. So they've just continued to build and add to that chemistry and the momentum. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes next for the Lakers. Of course, after they win the championship this year. But yeah, it's exciting to see them develop and grow.
It's good to still have hope. All right, guys, I'll ask you one more thing before I let you guys go. I know we've been going for a while. Top 10 players all time. I ask everybody this, so I want to hear what you guys' opinions are.
All time?
Oh, man.
I mean, it's your
Top
list,
10.
so like if you like, look, we didn't watch Wilt and Bill Russell play. And I
Yeah.
watched a little bit of Kareem and I like to watch the NBA Classic games, but we didn't watch any of them. So if you want to leave them off, I'm totally cool with that. This is your opinion.
Okay. Top 10 of
So
all
I'll
time.
start with my top 5, and in the spirit of people in our generation, I am going to go with people that I was actually able to see play. So I'll start with my top 5, and then I'll have to kind of think past that. So I would go with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Those are an easy top 3 for me. And even from there, I mean, there's I want to say Kevin Durant, but then I guess it depends on how we quantify best players and whether rings and championships contributes to that. I mean, it's so tough.
Yeah. So let me chime in here. So I'll name my 10. Okay. And I know I'm gonna miss some guys. So whoever watches this, please don't come after me and send me death threats for not including your players. But I would agree with his top 3 in whatever order you want. But my personal order would be Kobe, Jordan, Bron. If someone said Bron, Kobe, Jordan, or mismatch, they wouldn't be wrong. Okay. So those are 3. Magic has to be top 5, I think. So he's up there. Even though he's not our era, you have to respect the greats. Kareem has to be up there. So that's 5, I think. After that, I'm gonna go more current-ish era. Once again, could be controversial. Steph has to be there. I don't think people are truly gonna appreciate what Steph does after he's gone. So that's another one. KD has to be there. I think Shaq.
I would. Yeah, Shaq would be in there. I would throw Giannis in there as well. So that brings us to what, 8, 7 or 8. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, we haven't seen a player like him ever. His size, do the things that he's done. You could make a case for Jokic and Embiid as well. Embiid getting the MVP this last season. Jokic, just an incredibly special player. Top 10. Part of me wants to throw James Harden in there too. I mean, if we go back a few seasons, the way he just dominated.
I disagree. I disagree. Objection. I mean, hey, he's super talented, but top 10 all time. I think he'd probably be like top 25, but top 10 all time. He's up there. He hasn't won a championship yet, so.
So that's where it kind of comes back to how we quantify it. How we quantify it, though, right? So if it means that they have to have won a championship, I mean, you would have to throw Dwayne Wade in there and Tim Duncan and a few others as well, right? Bill Russell ahead of some of the other guys.
So Zico and the rest of the podcast, you're now privy to some of the conversations that Tyler and Jason have behind closed doors. Welcome to being an identical twin. In the essence of time, you can take some of those names, extrapolate out of there what you want, and
I could work with that, man. I could work with that. Trust me, and my brother have these conversations all the time. The 13-year-old gap between us makes me want to rip my hair out most of the time when it comes to his conversations, but I totally understand. That works. I get it. It's a little harder when you don't watch players. You're more partial to the guys you watched. For me, my top 3 players I've ever seen is Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. Like, to me, there's really no other conversation past that. But just being a basketball fan, I get the love affair with some of the older guys, seeing some of the stuff they did, but it's hard to ignore some of the stuff the new guys are doing now. So it is hard. It's a difficult conversation, but it is always a fun one. I like hearing what people are going to bring up. I've had some funny ones pop up so far. So James Harden, I don't think anyone's mentioned yet. So
yeah. So, thinking top 10. I'm sure if I broke things down, I would he would probably
You can't
fall back
redact it,
into
man. This is being
closer to
recorded.
maybe
You
top
can't
20,
redact.
top 25.
Can't redact.
Well, I'm just thinking of like when James Harden was at his prime, like if we go back to like 2015, 2016, or 2014, 2015, I mean, he strung together some pretty incredible seasons, and just the way that he just dominated offensively. I mean, with that step back three, I mean, there were games where I just remember being just mind blown on what he was doing. So, but you know, as far as legacy, if we were to say who had like top 10 legacy players, he wouldn't be in that mix because he hasn't sniffed a championship yet. So, yeah, definitely a topic that we could debate.
We'll debate it again sometimes. Next time I'll prepare you guys, let you know ahead of time, write down that list so that you guys are ready to go with it.
Love it.
For sure.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Good luck to both of you guys tonight. You know, I can't really root for any team, but I'm definitely rooting for you guys individually and Mark Butler. So I hope you guys all do well tonight.
Definitely. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. And I love what you're doing with OCBL. Quick question, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of led to you wanting to create this league? And tell me a little bit about that vision and how when and how you decided to start this.
So I've ran leagues before. I actually ran a Muslim basketball league. There's multiple players in our league now that had played in it. And what originally happened was the Muslim basketball league they kind of changed their rules a little bit. There was 4 divisions: Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4. And the rules that they had changed, because I was running the league for certain guys, the rules that they had changed kind of didn't work for me. So I chose to go a different route and start my own league. And so I had been running leagues and tournaments for the Muslim basketball league for about 12 years. And I also played in a bunch. I played in a ton of leagues. Like my leagues go back to the old Legacy League, which was in the Inland Empire, the Superstar Basketball League, which was a pro-am league that was here in Orange County and also in LA. So I was driving all over the place to play in the best leagues I could find when I was younger. I had a ton of contacts. I have more, but it's a little harder just like focusing on the OC when there's so many guys in LA, so many guys in San Diego, and so many guys in the Inland Empire. But when I stopped running the Muslim Basketball League, a bunch of guys were like, dude, start a new one. Like, you could do it by yourself. It'll be even better. Just start a new one. So kind of looked at all my contacts from the OC, and I realized there's no pro-am in the OC. I know the Mecca League lists themselves as pro-am. They're not registered as pro-am. So the only pro-am, official pro-am leagues are the Drew League, Inland Empire League, and San Diego League, which are all really good leagues. And then I kind of told myself, okay, well, let's make pro-am competition, but like have a reason to play. So when we ran the Muslim Basketball League, it was more of a religious focus, but there was non-Muslims playing in it. A lot of non-Muslims were playing in it. And when you have a reason to play, guys kind of like change their attitude a little bit. We didn't have a lot of problems in the Muslim Basketball League because it was like, okay, well, let's be respectful. Like, we weren't allowed to curse in that league. You got to curse, you get technical. And so I thought to myself, all right, well, what's the reason I could use to make guys kind of soften up and understand it's not just the basketball league. It's something that we're going to build for a reason. And, my mom has been suffering from cancer for the last 5 years. She has tongue, throat, and lung cancer. She had multiple surgeries. They removed 75% of her tongue and her lymph nodes in her neck. So she struggled quite a bit for years, and I had been taking care of her through most of it. My sisters and I all kind of stepped up to take care of her after she had taken care of us, our whole lives. And, Omar was the guy I run the league with. His dad had just passed away from MS. And so we're just kind of like sitting one day and, he's kind of still going through it with his dad. And I'm in a situation where I'm going through with my mom. And we're like, dude, if we start a league, let's do something where we give back to a cause, whether we're going to donate to cancer or donate to MS, whatever it is. And he loved it, like right from the get-go. He's like, dude, let's do that. Like that's to us, that was even more of a cause than the Muslim Basketball League. So that was kind of the basis. And then things just kind of formed little by little. And, you know, I'm super happy with it, man. You know, like obviously we haven't donated to cancer of any kind yet. But like my whole thing is everyone has something. Every family or friend of yours has had or dealt with something that's traumatic and difficult. So for us, it was let's let the team that wins pick something that's important to them, which, you know, you guys are going to get to pick something tonight, whether it's you or recognize. I want it to be something that's important to you guys' team, that's important to your family. So that was kind of the basis, and that was what we built on, and super happy with it. You know, my mom loves I did it too. So just something to give back and use it playing basketball.
Awesome. I love it. Love the purpose and reason behind it. And you've done an amazing job so far.
Thank you, man.
You bringing in the players that you have is impressive. And, you know, wishing your mom the best.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, mad respect for you and Omar. Really appreciate you guys. Sorry to hear I didn't know that about Omar's mom or your mom. So no, wish you guys the best, and it's a beautiful thing what you've created here.
Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you guys again. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good, man. Thanks a lot for having us.
All right. Thank you, guys.